Hi, welcome back to Box Delights and welcome to this presentation of Kavango. Kavango is an upcoming game from Mazaza Games, created by Matt Brown and Zara Reed, illustrated by Matt Brown, and they've sent me this pre-production copy. So we're in September 2023. It's about to hit Kickstarter. So yes, this is a Kickstarter preview, but remember, I never take money for Kickstarter previews. This is purely because I love the look of the game. I saw this at the UK Games Expo and wanted to play it, so I'm sharing this with you today. But do be aware that it is prototype. What you're seeing is pretty much final, but we're going to be playing the solo game today, so I'm going to show you what the game is about. We're going to play through the solo game, but if you're watching this post-production, just be aware some of the rules on the solo might have changed a little. So I'm going to show you as the rules are as of now, but the general flow of the game is what I want you to follow, because that will be unchanged. There may just be some little fine details that might have changed, you know, the decisions the AI opponent is taking, that kind of stuff. Kavango, in the context of this game, I understand sets the game in the wider Kavango Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area. This is one of the jewels in Africa's crowns, spread around the Okavango Delta and the wildlife that inhabits primarily Namibia, Botswana and Zimbabwe, Zambia and Angola. So a collective region. We will become a conservation expert trying to build a thriving nature reserve. Okay, let's get inside the box and we'll show you how this plays. As I say, we're going to play solo. It plays 1 to 5. And remember, this is prototype stuff, but it's looking wonderful. It's pretty much final. It really does showcase Matt's artwork. He's done a fantastic job with this game. Okay, I'm going to get set up. Join me back at the table and we will learn how this game plays. We're playing an opponent. Our opponent's called Oppo. Okay, and we start the game with a conservation expert, and the conservation expert may kind of dictate our strategies and how we're going to play. We are going to be a ranger, so that's our supporting conservation expert. If you wanted to as a variant, you can give one to Oppo. Perhaps they would be a botanist, for example, but there's a whole bunch of different conservation experts that you can start the game with. We won't give one to Oppo, we'll keep things simple today. You also start with 2 animals from deck C. There's 3 decks, A, B and C. Deck A, these are called producers. These are like the bottom of the food chain, so plants, insects, fish. Next up in the food chain are deck B cards, okay, so they're grazers and so on. Okay? And then deck C, these are the top of the food chain. These are the apex animals, or they're species that need more advanced habitat protection, poaching protection, protection from climate, that kind of stuff. Okay, so C's depend on B's, who depend on A. We start with 2 deck C animals. So we have a Sitatunga. Sitatunga are aquatic antelopes with thick water-resistant fur. They can swim for several kilometers. They're grazers. They predominantly require grass. Okay? And we've also got a white rhino because of its wide mouth. Mistranslated as wide rhino, white-mouthed rhino. Wide rhino is thick-skinned. These armored giants have incredibly tough skin, which is about 15 millimeters thick. Also, grazers. Okay, so I know I'm kind of heading towards a grass-heavy strategy. Now, you don't have to head towards these. They kind of just give you a starting position if you want, and I can choose to completely ignore these. Now, these appear in our sanctuary. At the moment, they're not scoring for me. This is my wildlife reserve, this area, and I can bring animals from my sanctuary into my wildlife reserve once I've provided for their needs. In the top left of each card is a points value. We're going to be looking to score points. Here's a points track. Right, so this is a victory point game. You're going to be accumulating points throughout the game by meeting certain research tasks. We'll look at those in a second. And then at the end of the game, you'll score these points for each animal in your reserve. Now, we may well fill up our reserve. We may have a few empty spots. We'll see how we get on. So that's the aim, fill up our reserve with animals that score us points and complete research tasks along the way to score us points. We'll have a look at those research tasks because We start with 4 research tasks in play. They start with round 1 research tasks. There's 3 rounds to the game, rounds 1, round 2, round 3. And we've got 10 turns in each round. Okay, so that's the whole game. And as we end each round, we'll clear away research tasks and replace them with 4 new ones. All right, so what have we got for round 1? We've got lightweights, number of animals that weigh between 0 and 5 kilos. So these are going to be scoring us points, but also earning us money. Okay, at the moment I've got 2 money in my supply. I'm going to need money to develop the habitat protection, the protection from poaching and climate protection, as well as paying for rewilding, which brings producers, the bottom of the food chain species, into my reserve. Okay. Right, so points and money from completing research tasks. We've got a tree house. Animals shown on a branch. Okay, interesting. So arboreal perhaps. Biodiversity, have all 4 types of producers. Yes, there's 4 types of producers. When we're looking at those shortly. If we've got 1 of each type, we'll get 2 money and 2 points. And then rodentology, number of small animals. Okay, so there's different types of animals. So the Sitantunga here has this icon that shows it's a top ungulate. I think they call them antelopes in this game, a top level ungulate. Okay, so this is a small animal, the number of small rodents. Okay. If we have 2, we get 1 money and 1 point. If we get 3 or more, 3 money and points. Okay, so those are our research tasks that may direct how we play. How do we get new cards? Well, this is going to be predominantly a card drafting game. And in a solo game, we play as if there's 2 hands. The dummy player is at the bottom right there. We're going to be taking on the role of the pink or purple player. We'll look at those in a little more detail in a minute. But there's a hand for us and a hand for them. So in a 2-player game, there's 2 hands. 4-player game, there's 4 hands, and so on. We've got these pass hand cards that help us keep track of our hands. Now, in the first round of the game, the construction of your hands that you're going to be drafting from looks like this. So in a 1 to 2 player game, it's going to be 3 event cards in round 1, 3 event cards, 6 from deck A and 6 from deck B. Right, and in round 2 it changes, round 3 it changes. Okay, so you can see as the rounds go, the makeup of our hands changes. This is for 3 to 5 players. Right, so for 1 to 2 players, 15 cards in each hand, 3, 6, and 6. All right, so 3 action cards in each deck. 6 from deck A and 6 from deck B. That creates our 2 hands. Oppo is going to start the game, and they're going to start with choosing a card from pass hand 1. They'll play the card, and then we get to choose. Okay, so we choose a card, we play a card. And once we've played a card, we could potentially be completing those research items and investing any money that we've accumulated. And we'll talk about that when we get there. But investing money, like I said, helps us increase the protection levels for our nature reserve. Now, in the solo game, I like to use, I just found this helps me because there's a hand of 15 cards and we're going to play 10 turns each. So we're each going to play 5 cards from each of these hands. Okay, so that'll remove 10 cards, at least 5 cards. So when there's 5 cards left, we know that we've reached the end of the round. But I like to just use another set of Seir tokens. I've counted out 10 of them, so we'll know when we've played 10 turns. Okay, 10 turns, and then the round ends. You with me? Okay. So my aim is to collect cards. I'm going to draft them from these hands. 1 from here, then 1 from here, 1 from here, back and forth. Play them into our nature reserve or into our sanctuary. We've only got space for 3 animals in our sanctuary, and we're trying to accumulate points off our animals and by completing research tasks. Right, Oppo starts the game. They're going to go first. Okay, so it's an open hand. Yeah, they're going to get to look at this, and we can see this is made up of producers. So like I say, these are the plants and insects, fish, trees, and deck B animals. These are like the first level of the food chain, if you like. Okay. All right, so how does Oppo choose? first thing they're going to do is choose the highest value animal. So 4s are higher than 3s, higher than 2s, that they can successfully feed. They already have the food requirements for. Now at the start of the game, Oppo starts with one of each producer. You can see them here. One fish, one invertebrate, one grass, one tree. So they don't have 2 fishes. They can't match this one. This baboon here wants to feed on reptiles. It doesn't have any, and birds, so no good. 2 invertebrates, no, they've only got 1, so no good. 3 trees, no. Okay, so bullfrog's an option, and so is guinea fowl. All right, so they're going to choose one of these 2 cards. All right, so bottom left, this is the food requirements. 1 invertebrate, 1 fish. Remember, they've got 1 of each at the moment. 1 grass, 1 invertebrate. This icon here says what type of animal this is. So bullfrogs has got the reptiles and amphibians icon. The guinea fowl has the bird icon. Okay, so they're providing these icons into their nature reserve once they're placed in the nature reserve. And then this icon here, this is a requirement. Okay, so these are requirements, this is a requirement. There's 3 protection level requirements. And these reflect these levels here. This is habitat protection, this is poaching protection, so in this case this is asking for a level 1 poaching protection. And there's also climate protection. Climate protection is in the circle. Okay? Now at the moment climate protection is level 0. We have to fill up these spots with cubes in order to get level 1. Likewise, each player has their own board for habitat and poaching protection. Oppo starts with level 1 habitat, level 1 poaching. We start with 0. And here's our board. Now what's interesting is that habitat and poaching are individual, independent, they're all personal levels, whereas climate protection is shared. So if we want to pay to increase climate protection, we're increasing it for everybody, not just for us. But Oppo's good. They've got 1 poaching protection. They've got the requirements for the guinea fowl. If they didn't, they'd look to put it in their sanctuary. But either of these is good. So which one do they choose? Well, as it goes, we'll just choose on their behalf. Okay, so I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I'll give them the guinea fowl. So we'll keep this in the hand. Let's have them select the guinea fowl. Oppo doesn't have a player board, doesn't have a reserve like we do. They're just going to place it in a pile to the side of the board. Okay, job done. Right, that's Oppo's turn. Now to us. All right, what do we want? We get to choose now. Now, remember, Oppo started with 1 of each producer. We don't have any producer cards right now, so we can't play these cards that need producers as food, right? So maybe we'll be interested in producers. But depending on which play board you pick, you do get 2 producers to start with. So they're slightly darker colour here. We start with a tree and a fish, no grass, no invertebrates. And I know I'm kind of interested in some grassland animals, yeah, for my level C's. So maybe I'll take some grass. And I could take one of these and put it in the sanctuary so that Oppo doesn't get it. But I've got trees and fish, so I've only 1. Now, bees and termites count as invertebrates, even though they've got their own icon. I think I'm going to take... Invertebrates will help me get the bullfrog as well. So maybe I'll take an invertebrate. Yeah, let's take a bee. Okay. Producers go up here above your board. They don't go into your reserve. Okay, so you can have an unlimited number of producers. So I just tuck the bee underneath here like so as a producer. All right, so now I've got 1 fish, 1 bee, which also counts as an invertebrate, 1 tree, no grass. Right, and that's it. That's our turn complete. Now, if I wanted to, I could complete research now. And there's a handy reference guide here. So choose a card player card, complete research, and I could invest some money. And I've got 2 money to invest up here. Okay, that's what I started the game with. So if I wanted, I could spend money. What can you spend money on? Well, habitat protection, poaching protection, level 1, that each cost a money each. So I could put 1 cube here and 1 cube here. Now to get up to level 2, I need 2 money and 2 money. I could put a money down here at climate protection. If I put a cube here, that completes level 1. You can see this kind of scales by number of players. So in a 1 or 2 player game, you just need 2 on each spot here to complete level 1. In fact, you need 4 for level 2, you need 6 for level 3, alright, and so on. But as the number of players increase, now for level 1, as a 3-player game, you need 3 cubes here. So you can see collectively we can all help towards completing climate protection. So I could put it there. That would help me get me climate level protection 3, which is what Sitantunga wants. Okay. Now remember, I do have a conservation expert, and that's the ranger. The ranger allows me to play an animal for which I don't yet have the required poaching level protection. Okay. But I can only do that once with the ranger. So that's quite neat. So I could play the rhino, even though I don't have poaching level protection 4, because I've got the ranger. Okay. And he also brings an ability that says I start with level 1 poaching protection. Okay. So I should have poaching protection level 1 already. So now I can't get level 2. So if I put this in here, that's only half of what I need. So potentially I could put some money here and help with this, but I don't think I will just yet. I think we'll leave it. I think we'll leave it and we'll wait till we've had a look at the hand. So that's it. I've completed my turn on turn 1. I can't buy any research tasks. These don't help me towards my research tasks, okay? Only animals in your reserve, okay, will help you with research tasks. So we will complete the turn. So now we pass and we go to pass hand 2. Right, so let's remove a cube. We've had a turn. Pass hand 2 now. And again, Oppo gets to go first. Let's have a look in this hand. So there are action cards in here as well. So I don't have to take one of these species cards. You can take action cards. But yeah, we'll talk about that on our turn. So again, Oppo's going to look for the highest value card that he can pay the food resources for. So he's got one of each. So he can't get these. He could get, we've got a few level 2s here. So one of these, but he can't get these. He hasn't got 2 of each food. He could get the Weaver, and he does have habit protection level 1. So he's going to take the Weaver and put it in his reserve. Okay. So now he's got 2 birds and 4 points. Now we don't rack those points up just yet. Okay, points are scored as we go along for completing research tasks. These only score at game end. All right. Okay, turn passes to me. So Oppo's turn's real quick and easy. So what do we want? We could take some, well, I do want another invertebrate, don't I? Because when the hand passes back, yeah, I want to grab that one that needs 2 invertebrates. There's a couple here that need 2 invertebrates as well. So that much I like. So maybe I'll take another invertebrate. There's a termite here, which is a specific type of invertebrate, and a baboon spider, which is a generic invertebrate. And that's important because some animals want termites or bees, some just want any old kind of invertebrate, like a spider. Okay, I'm going to take termites. Right, let's take the termite. So we're going to grab another producer and tuck it under our mat. So now we've got 2 invertebrates. Okay, termite and a bee. And incidentally, there is a species guide here that is really helpful. It tells you the number of producers and animals that there are in the whole game, right? So there's only 2 bees in the game. I've got one of them. There's 4 termites, right, for example. And then also it tells you the maximum number that you need to support other animals in the game. So the most number of bees that are required is 1, but grass 4. So some animals will require up to 4 grass, like this rhino here needs 4 grass. But there won't be any animal that needs more than 1 bee, or 2 termites, or 3 invertebrates total, all right, for example. So this is really helpful when you're grabbing producers to know the most that are needed. Okay, right, so that's it. I don't think I want to apply. I can't complete any research tasks. I don't want to spend any money. Was there anything here? I mean, this one, these are all, they only require one. So I'm not going to get these until we get climate of 1. But I've got habitat and poaching protection already. Yeah, maybe I want to put climate up. But not yet, not yet. All right. So that's the end of that turn. Back to pass hand number 1. Oppo to go first. So Oppo is looking at the 4s he can't get. Now this is where things unravel a little bit for me. I think, oh no, he's going to take the bullfrog. He can't get any of these because he doesn't have any of the requirements. But he does have birds now, so he could get the baboon, but he doesn't have a reptile and amphibian, but he's about to get one because the next animal he can afford the food for is the bullfrog, which happens to be a reptile and amphibian. So looking ahead, he's going to take the baboon next time if I don't. So that's interesting. But there you go. He's going to take the bullfrog. That's the one that's going to give him the most points that he has all the food for. And then down to me. So I was interested in this reed frog, actually. So I could take the reed frog now. But if I do, I can't play it yet because it needs climate protection 1. I should have looked ahead. See, I could take the baboon, even though I can't put it in my reserve because I don't have, well, I do have a tree, but I don't have a bird or reptile and amphibian, but I can put it in my sanctuary. Okay, so if I don't have all the food requirements, I can stop him getting it by sticking it over here. So that's an option. Or maybe I look at one of these action cards. So this one gets 2 million from the bank and spend it on climate protection. Nice. Swap an animal in my sanctuary for another animal in somebody else's sanctuary. That's also potentially good if I do take the baboon and he grabs something better later. The researcher takes 3 research cards from the deck. Remember those small research tasks? Choose one and discard the other. So it's a private little research task just for me. But I need to be interested in biodiversity. So grass, I need grass at some point. But you know what, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to play a spoiling game for now, and I'm going to take the baboon and stick it in my sanctuary. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. A bit mean, but there you go. And there aren't any more birds, and I can't remember. Was there any birds in hand 2? I can't remember. All right, but do I want to research and invest? I do. I do want to invest because I want to spend one of my money. I could do it next turn, but I might forget. But I'm going to put this here. I've got a terrible memory, especially when I'm filming. So I can put this in. Now we're up to climate protection level 1. So if there were animals in my sanctuary that required that, I could be playing them now, but I don't have any. So animals in sanctuary, they can be played at any time. As soon as those requirements get hit by you or someone else, you can put them into your reserve. Okay, Oppo's turn. Remember, we don't have, huge amounts of time. I'm actually going to put these up here because we'll leave the area below his board for his sanctuary, and we'll put these up here in his reserve. Okay. Back to him for turn 2. So again, he's looking for stuff that he can afford. So does he have 2 fishes? No. 2 invertebrates? No. 2 trees? No. Okay, so he can't afford any of these, so he's going to go for a producer instead, and he's got lots to choose from. Which producer does he go for? Right, good question. Well, first off, they will look at the most required, right? So they won't take a producer that they've already got the most of. Now, as it goes, they've only got 1 of each, okay? But if they had a B, they wouldn't take a B because they only need 1. Okay, that's the most required. So any of these will do for them as it goes. And this is where they use this die. And then they'll keep rolling until they find one that they can take. And they're going to go for a fish. And that's a shame. So they're going to take the crab. I say it's a shame because I think 2 fish was a good requirement. So they're going to take this producer and they're going to add it to their play area here. So that it's in their producers. Okay. So now they can take stuff that needs 2 fish. All right, that's his turn done. back to me. What am I going to take? Well, we're up to level 1 now, so I can take these. So I could take the swallow. It's a bird, and I know the baboon needs a bird, and that's quite good. Maybe one of these two. So the question is, do I take the swallow or the darter? If I take the swallow, I can play it straight away. If I take the darter, I can't because there's no room for it. Unless I take a fish, and there's no fish left. Now, money's useful because if you've got too few producers, if you've got enough money, because you can buy a rewilding card. These cost $4 million. Each cube is $1 million. These cost 4, and this you can use as any one of the 4 producers. So that's really cool. It's a nice way to turn money into stuff. Right? But at the moment I've run out of money because I spent my 2 money on climate protection and habitat protection. So yeah, so this is no good. I can't get the data. I've got no space in my reserve. I mean, I could put it in there and kick something out, but I don't want to. I'm going to take the swallow. So this is my choice. I'm going to take the swallow. I've got 1 climate protection. That's good. It needs 2 invertebrates, which we've got. A termite and a bee counts as invertebrates. So we've got all the requirements that we need. We just place that in any spot in our reserve. Okay, I'll place him here below. It doesn't really matter where you place it. But we've got our first animal, a swallow, in our reserve. That'll be 3 points at the game end. I mean, the swallow counts towards a lightweight. It's only 20 grams. But lightweights wanted 2 animals for 1 money and 1 point. Timing when to complete the researches is a key part of the game. Right, I think that's it. That's my turn done. Let's go to back to hand 1. Yep, back to hand 1. So Oppo to go first. They're looking for the highest value, which is the turtle. They've got 2 fish now. They've got climate protection level 1 because I created it, and they've got habitat protection. They're taking the turtle. During the dry season, African helmeted turtles can bury themselves underground for months. That's another 4 points for them. They're doing well. Okay, what about me? Which one will I take? I could take the reed frog now. I've got everything I need for the reed frog, and I can play it straight in. So I've got 2 invertebrates, I've got 1 climate. Yeah, we're going for the reed frog. Okay. And this can come straight into my reserve because I've got climate and I've got all the requirements needed for the reed frog. We can place him wherever we like, but not just that, we can now play the baboon as well because we've got 1 tree. Remember, we started with a tree and a fish. We've got a bird and we've got a reptile and amphibian. So the baboon can come in and join my reserve. I've now got 3 animals in my reserve. I think I've got 10 points. I think they've got 10 points. So we're pretty much even Stevens right now. And I've got 2 animals below 5 kilos. The baboon is 40 kilos. And we've got 2 animals on branches as well. So I could, if I wanted, complete a couple of these. I could complete treehouse and lightweights, but you can only complete them once. I don't think so. I think I'm going to hold on for a little bit longer. Let's hold a little bit longer. All right. Let's move on to the next turn. Oppo, you're up. Let's see, what can he take? He's going to take the darter, isn't he? Yeah, that's the only 4 pointer left in here. And he's got 2 fish, and he's got the 2 fish he needs, and he's got climate protection 1. He's taking the darter, so he's pulled ahead with this card. All right, what am I going to go for? So we've got a striped mouse. It's a small one. It's a rodent. I think that's the only rodent. We're not going to get rodentology. I think that's the only rodent. And it was a minimum of 2, wasn't it? Yeah, that's no good. We do want some grass for biodiversity. We've got fund climate, restoration. This one gets me a rewilding card. So this action card's used for any producer basically. And then we've got researcher. I think the tree, got a nice sausage tree and a Jackalberry tree. I'm going to take one of these. I mean, it's easy to get caught up buying too many producers, but when you haven't got any money, you haven't got much choice. But they will help you. So I like the sausage tree. Why not? Let's take. I mean, there's no mechanical difference between them. They're just trees. All right. So let's take a tree. Okay. So that's it. I've got 2 trees now. Back to Oppo. So they would like the vervet monkey, but they have only got 1 tree. So they're going to look at producers instead. Let's roll the die. They're going to roll the dice. So the only time they would go for an event card is if there aren't any producers that they need. Okay. No B. Fish. Okay, so they're going to take another fish. That doesn't take them over the maximum, does it? Let's just check. Most required is 3, so they won't take any more fish. They've got the maximum required of fish. All right, so they're taking the spiny eel. All right, that's their 3rd fish. Okay. Now, what about me? What do I want to take? I could put this in my reserve. It needs 3 trees. And it's a rodent. Interesting. But he's not going to take it because he needs 3 trees before he'll take it and even consider taking it. So maybe I take the 3rd tree. Stop him getting trees. Yes. I'm going to take another tree. I know it seems like we're taking a lot and it's probably spending too much. And I've got to be careful. I'm running out of turns, and you have to take these round 1 research tasks in round 1, otherwise they're gone forever. But we're getting close. All right, I'm taking the tree. So that's it. I've got 3 trees now, and then ending my turn. Okay, pass hand 2. You can see why I use the cubes now. It just helps me keep track. Right, Oppo. Oppo's got 2 fish and 1 of everything else, so he can't get any of these. If he was a botanist, maybe he could. But he's going to go for another one of these producers, so he won't take fish. Let's see. He's going to go for the tree, so he's taking the jackalberry tree. All right, fine. Yep. So he's got 2 trees now, but what about us? What about us? We'd like this little mouse, wouldn't we? Well, we can take this little mouse and we can put him in our play area. So let's do it, because we've got 3 trees actually. Now, do we want to grab some money? Is now the time? I think I will. So, let's see. I haven't got the biodiversity one yet. I haven't got the rodent one yet. The other the other monkey's going to come on a branch. No, I'll wait. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait 1 more turn. Okay, so back to Oppo. So he's not going to go for the vervet monkey. I'm going to grab that because he hasn't got enough trees. He's going to take one of these 3. He could take a termite and he could take grass. So we're just rolling until we hit one of those 2. Yeah. If there were, I just need to check this. I might have misplayed this, but yeah, if there were a restoration action card, he would also go and grab a rewilding. But as it goes, he's rolled invertebrate. It doesn't. That's not a termite. So he's looking for grass or termite, whichever he rolls first. He's rolled grass, so he's taking a wild melon. That's going in his reserve. That's his turn done. Okay, and for me, I'm going to take the vervet monkey, and I've got 3 trees, and I can play this straight away into my reserve. So let's see. Again, it doesn't matter where I play it, but I've got 2 rodents now, so I'm actually going to cash this event in. 2 small animals. Okay, 2 animals with this, it gives me 1 money and 1 point. And this is what these tokens are for. You place one of your tokens on here, and it gives me 1 money and 1 point. So I take a point. I've got a lovely wooden cube meeple. I've got an elephant. I've given them the purple hippo. There's choices. Somehow I could have had the tortoise, and they could have had the flamingo. I think it is, yeah, flamingo. Okay. So I take a point. So I'm up to 1 point, and I take 1 money. That's one of my green cubes, and I put it on my money supply. Do I want to complete any of these? Yes. Animals shown on a branch. Well, I've got 4 of them actually, so I can complete this one. 3 plus is 3 animals and 3 money and 3 points. So again, I tick that one off. I'll take another 3 points. Let's go to 4, and that's a good bonus. So I've got 3, 1, 2, 3 money. So yeah, I'm actually gonna quit there and end my turn. Okay, that ends the turn. We've got 2 more turns left, I think. No, we don't. I think this is the last turn. Yeah, this is the last turn. I'm just going to wait. And the reason I'm going to wait, I want some grass. And there's only 1 grass left. And will he take it? No, he's not going to. He's going to take the dukkha. He's got 2 trees. He's still only got 1 invertebrate. So he's going to take the dukkha. I don't know how you pronounce that, but there we go. He's got this. He's got 1 poaching protection on his board. Just here. So he's got this. He's got his 2 trees. Yeah, he's still only got 1 invertebrate. So he's not going to take the other one. So he's taking that one. Okay, fine. He's taking that, which means I can take the grass, which is what I want, and that saved me the money. Now I could take one of these, gain a rewilding card for free. Researcher could grab me some points and money. So that's a gamble. I mean, I could grab a research thing that I couldn't get, or maybe only gives me 1.1 money. Or I could just get 2 million from the bank and forget biodiversity, and it's a point. But biodiversity is better, so I'm going to grab the crowfoot grass and place it here. Okay, so now I've got 1 of each. Yeah, grass, trees, invertebrate, and I started with a fish. It started with a fish. Never thought it would come to this. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So I can tick off biodiversity, and that gives me, I've got all 4 types, that gives me 2 points and 2 money. Beautiful. So I'm up to 6 money, and then I'm going to cash in the lightweights. So again, I can tick this off. Number of animals that weigh 0 to 5 kilos. And I've got just 20 grams, 15, 50 grams, 5 kilos. So the vervet monkey just comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus animals is 3 money and 3 points. We've done fabulously well. Incidentally, I'm playing on intermediate difficulty. There is a beginner level and then there's an expert level. So, I mean, I would probably play on the expert level, but I'm going to leave you to discover that for yourself. For now, I've got 3 more money and 3 more points. So I'm up to 9. And that ends the round. Should be 5 cards left in each pass hand, which will get discarded. We didn't play any action cards, but they can be useful. Okay, so these all get discarded now because we've reached the end of the round. We've been scoring points. You'll notice that Oppo's not grabbing research cards, but to simulate him grabbing research, at the end of round 1, so at the end of round 1, it says, so I'm playing on intermediate, he will grab 7 million and 7 points. So that's what they've done, and expert 9 and 9, okay, which is what we've got, 9 and 9. But he's going to grab 7, sorry, on intermediate level, 7 points and 7 money. Okay, so 7 is up here, and then 7 money, which goes on his money supply. Right, we've reached the end of the round. So now we move into round 2. And remember, we need to set the decks up again. So for round 2, it's going to be 3 events, 3 producers, so 3 from deck A, 3 from deck B, and then 6 from deck C. So let's go and do that. All right. Now, Oppo wants to spend some money. So in between, he's got a big stash of 7 money to spend now. And it tells us before the start of round two, he's going to put 2 million in habitat and poaching protection. So he's going to spend 2 million here and got to level 2. And 2 million here and got to level 2. Because these Deck B and Deck C animals, they're going to need higher levels of protection. It also says he's going to put 2 million into climate protection for an accumulative total of 3 million. And this is cool. The way they do this at the end, so 2 million here, the way they do that at the end of a round rather than during the round. I mean, they will spend money during the round if they need it to play cards. But they need money in their supply to do so, which they've got now. So we might see them spending money. So if they come out in round 2 and need a climate protection level of 2, they will potentially spend their 2 money. But doing it at the end of the round just keeps the game flowing nicely. And then, of course, we'll clear away these research tasks and replace them with round 2 tasks. Okay, so we've got herpetologist, reptiles and amphibians, number of antelopes, climate resilience, animals that require climate protection 1, 2, or 3. And then insectivores, animals that require only invertebrates. Well, I think we should do pretty well with these research tasks. All right, so we'll have a quick look and see what animals came out. Let's reset the deck. So Oppo's going to go first. We'll have a look at one hand. Let's see now. So again, we've got events, restoration, climate fund, relocation. These are going to be helpful if and when we need them. We've got fewer production cards this time, so only 1 grass, 2 trees. But remember, we've already got lots of production. There's a lot more Deck C cards now. So we've got some Deck B cards. And let's have a look at our Deck Cs. So look at these, they're going to need high levels of protection now. So an ostrich, for example, needs level 2 poaching protection. We've only got level 1, so we're going to have to start spending some money. Elephant wants level 3 poaching protection plus level 3 climate. So lots of climate needed to get the elephant in, and the flamingo. And the flamingo needs level 3 habitat protection. Right, so you can see that as things go up, Serval here needs level 2 climate and poaching protection, and as a predator wants lots of prey food, so he wants 3 small animals and 1 bird. You know, I think I've got 2 small animals and 1 bird, so Serval's possibly mile. What would Oppo go for? Well, we're going to look at their stack. Can they afford, but they can't afford this one, they don't have enough trees. Level 8s, we have to look in here and see. And this is why you just need to keep them in a stack where you can see what they've got. So this is what they've got. They've got 3 birds, 2 reptiles, amphibians, 1 antelope. So they haven't got enough. They haven't got enough for these. I think they're going to go and grab the flamingo because they've got an invertebrate and a fish. And they're going to put it in their sanctuary. Yes, so that's what Oppo's going to do. Right, so that's going to go under the board. So it's not scoring for them, it's in their sanctuary. But as soon as they get up to level 3, they haven't got enough money to invest in any of those things right now. As soon as they get up to level 3, that flamingo will come into play. And like us, they can only hold 3 species in their sanctuary. Right, my choice, my turn. Now, I'm going to wrap the video up here. If you want to join me and continue, I'm going to carry on playing. So we'll post another video with extended gameplay. But for now, I'm going to wrap up this video and just give you one last look at the animal reserve I'm building in Kavango. Okay, join me next time then as we continue our playthrough.